Hey, what's up 360 Booth fam? So moving forward, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to add timestamps to these one-on-one sessions so that you guys can get to the part of the one-on-one that's going to benefit you the most. So this is going to save you a ton of time, and well, time is money. So this should add value to your day. Now today I'm interviewing or having a one-on-one session with Bree and C, and they had some great questions. So let's go ahead and dive into the video right now. If you guys want to book a one-on-one, remember the description box has that information. Once you click that link, it takes you to my website where you can book a one-on-one with me. It's going to ask you questions about the location. Don't worry about the location. My website is going to be reflecting your time zone, and this is going to be held through either a Zoom call, such as this style here on this video, or we can do a FaceTime or regular phone call. All right, peace. Enjoy. Yo, what up, C?
What's going on, David? How you doing, man?
Blessed, man. How you doing on your side?
Man, we are doing good, man. It's me and my wife.
Hi.
Brianna, but we call her Bree.
Bree and C. What's good?
And that's funny that you said C. That's what everybody called me. I ain't gonna tell you.
Yeah, okay, cool. When you guys see me look down this way, I'm just taking some notes, okay?
So, hey, same thing over here.
Yeah. By the way, C and Bree, this session is being recorded. So if you guys want to be easy on the note taking, you guys can always come back to this video. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because I want you guys to ask as many questions as possible and not take so much time writing down these notes when you guys can actually circle back to this video. And this allows the session to be more efficient.
Got you. Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. Okay. And actually, yeah, because I think since I had called the people about my LLC, since I already have an LLC for my training business, they said that I can put the 360, it can go under my LLC. So everything, so I guess like with my insurance, I guess that would be covered under that since I already have an LLC already.
Yeah, so your LLC will act as the umbrella.
Umbrella, yeah.
Yeah, and then your photo booth business would be associated with your existing LLC, but you'll be doing business as. That's
Right.
another way you can do it to save you some of that startup money because, like I said, you have an existing LLC. And now all you have to really do is register you're doing business as. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Really important though, before we move on to the next question, is insurance, guys. Insurance, both for your business and when you buy equipment for your 360 booth, get warranty on it. Guys,
Okay.
it's just the fact that you guys really got to look at this long term, and electronics, things, accidents, incidents occur all the time. So also consider getting that small the business insurance for your 360 booth.
Okay.
As far as like contracts, once you get, how do we create one?
The 360 booth contract, Bree. I want you guys to take a quick look at this contract here. So just here, Emily. All right. So the contract looks like this, right? So the provider is my business, Canary Capital Ventures. I also doing business as under this LLC. It shows my address, the client's address. You guys are gonna put that information in, and then event information. Very simple, where it's gonna be taking place, time and date. And scroll down right here. The client should pay $6.99, 360 booth for 2-hour duration of the event. So this is just the agreement of the rate they're paying for the amount of time I'm going to be there. You guys can change this as well. So like I said, this is very straightforward, and I highlight the most important parts. For example, deposit should be deemed refundable if the client terminates this agreement within 30 days prior to the date of the event. Now remember guys, you guys can switch this to 10 days, 7 business days, whatever you guys decide. It's your business. And in the bottom, they'll just sign like this.
Okay.
So this contract, like I said, is accessible. It's only $10, guys, and once you pay once, you have that contract. You can use it for the life of your business. So you don't have to constantly pay $10 every single time you download this contract.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you take 50%? What would you suggest? You take 50% down to save the date and time, or save the date, and then 30 days before or 2 weeks before you take the other half, or?
Now, here's the way I do it. What I do now is I make it very simple for them. If they're going to book for 2 hours, what I'll do is I'll collect a $100 deposit that acts as a retainer, meaning it'll save you the time and the date. If you cancel, that $100 is non-refundable. All it truly is doing is reserving that time and date for you guys, right? And then on top of that, in the contract, what I put is the total amount is due 7 days before the event date. And this helps me because it shows me that they're serious and they're going to put the rest of the money down, and then I show up to the event with the money already in my business, whether it's my whatever bank I put it in, and I feel good that all I have to do now is just show up on time and execute and give them the best production possible. And so that's the way I do it. 7 days before the event date, the entire balance is due.
Okay.
Now I've had other operators. What they'll do is they'll take 50% from the very beginning. So say they're charging $800, they want $400. They want the client to put down $400, and then the remaining amount is entirely up to you guys when you want the remaining amount. For me, I like to make it simple for the client, and I like being flexible on my side. This just helps them book more with me as a business because I make it easier for them and I don't make it too expensive from the very jump. Now, everyone has different philosophies. This is just me sharing the way I'm doing it.
So I guess now, another question, because I actually was looking at some of your videos on last night about the LED lights, some of the LED lights that you use, to surround your 360. Like like I guess starting off, because again, like we're not trying to just spend all of our money, just going broke at top. So one question is, do you think having 2 LED lights is good going just to get started, or would you recommend having 4? Just to be on the safe side. And then we also have, the ring light that came with the 360 camera. So I didn't know if, just having 2 would be good, and then having a ring light to bring additional light, or just to, get good quality. Would it be good to go ahead and investing in 4 LED lights and going from there?
All right, see, so just to make sure that I'm understanding you correctly, when you say LED lights, are you referring to the
Yes. Yep.
right here? Okay,
Yep.
all right, sweet. So if like I said, it really goes down to your budget, but this is where you don't want to skimp out. This is one of the most important pieces of your 360 booth production is these RGB lights. These ones specifically are 2600 millihertz when it comes to the integrated battery. The battery's in here.
Okay.
I just charge them and I'm good to go, right? I have a lot more now since I got started, but when I first got started, I got started with a total of 4.
Okay.
Reason why is because I wanted to cover the entirety of the platform, and you can put one on each opposite end and kind of create
Box.
that. Yeah, exactly, precisely. So I started off with 4, and with time, of course, I started adding more equipment because I got busy and I had, I invested back into the business. So now I have more of these lights, and I use them for other things as well. And in addition to that, you were asking me about the ring light, right? See, so I use a U200 light, which is this one right over here.
Okay. It's different. Yeah, ours is more the circular one. Yeah. Okay.
So if it's circular, that's totally fine, as long as it holds your phone in the inside, and it really works even better when it has an integrated battery. When it has an internal battery, it saves you from having things wired too many cables running.
Okay, because we have the wireless 360 booth, so our stuff we just got to charge it up because we were trying to avoid as cordless stuff as much as possible. So that's why we got the wireless automatic one. And then again, I was watching your video last night, and you were saying something about keeping the light on the lowest level because I guess the higher the light, it drains the battery. How long does your light usually last for?
So to clarify, this specific model right here, this light right here, guys, this light right here, this is what I tell folks is in the back, you have your plus sign and your minus sign. When I'm at an event and it's going to be over 2 hours, this is what I usually do. I turn it up all the way to the maximum. Okay, once it's turned up all the way to the maximum and I'm at that event, then I minus it by 3. 1, 2, 3. And with this amount of brightness that I have right here, and this is the same setting for all 4 of my lights, this is really good lighting. Plus, this will last me over 3 hours just doing that. Because if you guys go full blast, make it as bright as possible, it's going to last you almost 2 hours. You might hit the 2-hour mark. You might not, depending on the heat. Because, batteries, depending on the heat and how cold it is. So to answer your question, you can get 3 hours, but depending on how you set up the brightness.
Okay, yeah, because that's one thing I was worried about is, let's say we happen to get an event and it's like a 4 hour event. Like I was like, okay, I gotta, make sure that light lasts 4 hours. And like I said, since we're doing wireless, we're not gonna have nowhere to plug it in. So that's why I was trying to curious on how long the battery life is. And do they? I guess when you charge it, they don't have like a replaceable battery, kind of like they don't have a battery where you can charge it up, and then once that dies, put another battery in, or you gotta just plug it up from the
Yeah, it's actually another good question. So it's an integrated battery. We as the user don't have access to it. It's basically meant to be removed and recharged again.
Gotcha.
But it does have the option where the charging port right here, if you find a cable long enough to run from the light to like a power bank and power bank, add the power bank down here, you can have the light on while it's charging.
Gotcha.
Right? But another thing is this is a good, I like this question because it really allows you to go through the process. Now, when someone books me for 4 hours or 3 hours, they usually book me when there's still sun out.
Okay.
And then it ages into the darkness, and that's when you actually use the lights. So when someone books you for 4 hours, it might be they're gonna book you during the day, and then it's gonna get later, and that's when you truly need the lights.
Gotcha.
So you might be there for your first hour without even having to turn these on.
Okay.
Right?
That makes sense. Camera wise, like, what do you prefer? Because I've seen the iPad, I've seen the iPhone. The only thing with the iPad is if we have the iPad and we can't use the ring light because the iPad won't fit in the ring light. But then I didn't know what would be the best bet to go ahead and get like an iPhone, and if so, like how much storage or how much memory should we have, or just invest in a GoPro?
Great question. So currently, what model of phones are you guys using right now?
iPhone.
I have, I think I have a 12, or what's the latest one that came out?
The 14 is the latest one, Bree.
So I probably have a 12.
Yeah, she has an iPhone 13. I have the iPhone 12 Pro.
Sweet. You guys both have decent phones, okay? I wanted to tell you guys that I started my business with the 12 mini and I still rock with the 12 mini. But for the most part, I use my standard iPhone 13, same exact model that Bree has on her end. And as you guys can see, the videos that you guys see, all those videos, especially the newer videos, are all recorded by my standard iPhone 13. On my standard iPhone 14, I went with the 128 gigs, which is pretty much standard. It's not an overkill. And that's enough to run this business. So you guys don't have to spend a lot of money. In fact, if you guys can utilize Bree's phone in the meantime, while you guys get more bookings, that's a good way to save money from the start.
Got you.
Yeah, so to answer your question, I would start off by using Bree's line. And when you use your phone at events, Bree, if you decide to go that route, just make sure you go to your settings while you're at an event. And when you're in your settings, go to focus and then do not disturb. That way, while your phone's in the arm and you get an incoming call, that incoming call doesn't interrupt the session.
Okay. And so, yes, that's perfect. Yeah, that's another thing.
So then I download TouchPics on here?
Yeah.
Yes, you should download TouchPics.
Also, really quick, guys. So whatever device you download TouchPics to, for example, say both of you guys have TouchPics. That TouchPics account has to match the email you guys use to subscribe to TouchPics on the phone.
Okay.
Meaning, if Bree has a specific email on her iPhone, and C, you have an entirely different email, when you try to log into TouchPics, TouchPics is going to access the account on whatever device you use to pay for TouchPics because it's tied down to the Apple ID. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Perfect. And then, I had one more question. Hotspot. Would you recommend? Would that be a question we should ask people? Like, hey, what is hotspot available? Wi-Fi? Like, what is?
Yeah,
what about those?
You should definitely ask those questions. In fact, I ask those questions in my when they're booking on my website. A few of the questions I ask them is, how many people are you expecting at your event? Another question I ask them is will Wi-Fi be accessible if needed? Will a power outlet be accessible within 50 feet?
Okay.
those are like the primary questions, and of course the address, the location of where it's going to be at. That's obvious. So, but those three questions, guys, is those are questions you definitely want to ask your client, whether they're calling and asking for pricing over the phone, and they feel like, hey, let's go ahead and book it. Those are the questions you guys want to ask. That way you guys know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Now going back to the hotspot, most people, of course, have Wi-Fi. But if you guys
Right.
are doing the event out in their backyard, out in their front yard, the Wi-Fi signal isn't as strong outside, just to kind of give you guys a heads up. The
Correct.
cool thing is that most of these apps we're using as 360 booth operators don't require too much data, so we don't need to have maximum speed available for us to have a successful event.
Okay.
And on top of that, guys, I'm also using a mobile hotspot that I purchased through T-Mobile that I'm using for my business. It's a 5G. I take that with me for every event because sometimes there's situations where the client doesn't have strong Wi-Fi, and I'm better off using my mobile hotspot that's designed and made just to be used as a hotspot, so I can have multiple units connected to it. It's portable. It looks just like this here.
And you just connect it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
got it right here. It's called a MiFi, and it's a IC Go. I bought it on eBay unlocked, and then I took it over to T-Mobile and got a SIM chip for it, and that's the way I did it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
How much do those run?
What this one on eBay? Wow, Bree, I got it a while back, but I want to. Sheesh. I can check if you guys want me to check even
No,
exactly.
no,
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 it's
no,
okay.
no.
Okay.
We'll look.
Because I have it in my, shopping purchase history.
No,
Uh,
it's okay.
I think me being I want to say as frugal as possible. I believe I paid under $150 for it. Under 150 bucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then you just go through your service and pay that additional fee.
Yeah. So
Your
what's
so
really cool about T-Mobile and who do you guys have right now as a carrier?
AT&T.
AT&T. All right, sweet. So I use T-Mobile, and T-Mobile has I'm on a business plan with them, so I get 100 gigs of 5G for $50 a month, which is
Okay.
really good, I think, in comparison to other offers.
Piggybacking off of that. So we got the camera part, the sharing station, because I've seen your videos and you had the TVs out there so people can look at their videos and stuff. Since again, because we're just starting off, and eventually adding a TV is something that we plan to do in the future.
Okay.
But as far as not using the TV, I guess with like an iPad be good, just to share. And I guess watching your touch pick video, once you sign up on TouchPick, it gives you that option where you can select like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff on the left hand side, so it can automatically be shared to the social media page, I believe. Or
Yeah. So it sounds like you have two questions within that.
yeah, sorry about that. I'm all over the place.
It's okay. So we'll start off with I think you mentioned. See the first question if I remember.
The
You
sharing
said
station.
the sharing station. No, you mentioned the TV. There you go. So just to update you guys, I stopped using that external TV, the whole tripod. I discontinued that months back. So
Okay.
now I show up to the event with my tripod and my iPad sharing station. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you guys because if I can save you money, then this is great. And TVs are not super expensive, but it's definitely a cost. Plus, you got to unload it and load it, and shuffle it back and forth, and get a tripod and all that stuff. So I'm not using a TV anymore, guys. Just to let you know.
Okay. All right.
And in fact, it's chilling just behind me. And I could probably see it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been chilling there for many months. I don't really watch TV on my time off, so it's just been there. So you can save money in that area, and you can take some of that money from your budget and buy an iPad. If you guys buy an iPad, you don't have to go to Best Buy or buy a brand new iPad. In fact, do you guys currently own an iPad right now?
We're watching you on our iPad.
Do you know what it is?
Oh, you guys have an iPad. All right.
Yeah, I think it's the iPad Air. It's like, yeah, I have the iPad Air 4th generation.
iPad Air 4th generation. So you guys have all the tools you truly need as far as the recording goes. You guys have an iPhone 13, you guys have an iPad sharing station, and I feel like you guys really have the most essential parts, and that's the recording devices.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys are set. So that's great. I feel like you guys probably didn't know you guys were ready.
We really didn't. We nervous. We're like, man, I ain't trying, cause we're both trainers, we're both coaches, so we're all about being, everything being right. So we don't want to just, go in there not knowing our game plan is on point.
And that's great. That's really good, guys. So yes, that iPad Air that you currently have, you can definitely use it as an iPad sharing station. Remember though that iPad, when you guys go to the menu and you guys go to settings, that iPad is going to show you what Apple ID it has on it. So that Apple ID should match Bree's iPhone 13 Apple ID. So if you decide to use TouchPix instead of Luma Booth, then you want those to match. That way,
You say Lumicus?
yeah,
Sorry.
Luma Booth yeah, so there's different 360 booth applications, with TouchPix and Luma Booth being the one of the most popular ones. And then there's always there's developers working on new 360 booth software, and I'm dabbling here and there. I'm not gonna say anything just yet until I'm confident and I'm happy with a specific new app besides TouchPix and Luma Booth. But
Okay.
for TouchPix, that Apple ID has to match.
Okay. Got you.
Can we can set that up? We can set that up? Like make it match?
Yeah, so for example, say you don't have the same Apple ID you have on your phone, right? So what you would do on your iPad is you guys would back up all the information that's important to you guys on that iPad Air, right? And then you guys would sign out of that current email it has, and then sign in using Bree's email that she has on her iPhone 13.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
I don't know if this is like a toward the end question. I know we've been bouncing around.
No.
What, like, for us starting up, what is like the most, besides like the camera, the tablet, the actual 360 booth and the lights, where would you say, like, I guess, how to set up what's most important? Because now we see a lot of backdrops are important. Are people getting other vendors and partnering up? Do we need to look at backdrops too? Or like, should we just focus on the 360 and get booked out that way? And then I guess, yeah, just like what's mainly important for the next 3-4 months as we get content.
So the way I've been seeing it kind of grow and evolve is very interesting, because we have a 360 booth community on Facebook. So there's hundreds of 360 booth operators, plus most of my audience and followers on Instagram and TikTok are 360 booth operators, if not existing photographers that recently added a 360 booth to their business, or party rental businesses. And this is what I'm seeing. Uh, a lot of people are now adding the cold spark machines to the 360 booth production, because that's helping them stand out from the competition. Now, you guys are out in Texas, Frisco, Texas, and I've noticed that in Texas, it's very popular now. The 360 booth is very popular. A lot of people seeing it as a way to really supplement their overall monthly income with a low investment upfront. And so a lot of people are really trying to push a 360 booth service. So it would be cool if you guys in the future can also set yourselves apart from the competition by adding certain things, or having your production really stand out in comparison to other people. And this is where creativity comes in, and of course some money as well. So I would say if you guys eventually can get at least one cold spark machine, then that's already setting you aside from a competitor that's maybe 5 to 10 miles away from you that doesn't have it. So when the client calls you and says, hey, I'm shopping around for the 360 booth service, I'm interested, it's going to be a sweet 16. Once you start breaking down all your services, you would actually say, by the way, we also include wedding cold spark machines. And when you mention wedding cold spark machines, they're gonna be like, well, what's that? And this is the part when you educate them, they're like, oh, whoa, I didn't know that. You're like, yeah, these wedding cold spark machines are usually used at weddings. And weddings, they spend a bunch of money at weddings. So they already know they're getting a lot more than the competition who doesn't have the cold spark machines, for example.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. That's actually because I was talking to her about that. Like, we need to find out, because everybody, we need to find a way to stand apart. We actually been looking at the half enclosures with the LED lights that kind of had like the little half shape.
Yep.
And then we also been looking at like the full 360 enclosure, because I haven't yet to see any one of those two here in Texas. So I told her off top, if we went with like that full 360 enclosure, I was like, that right there, I think would just even the half one, I think that right there would just set us apart from everybody else because nobody else really has that right now,
Yeah.
especially here in Texas.
Yeah. So that's the mentality you have to have is what can we offer that people are not offering right now, right?
Right.
How do we become an outstanding 360 booth service? So that's a good idea. Enclosures are a good idea, guys. But a really quick tip on the enclosures, make sure you guys get down the dimensions from the inside of the enclosure because what happens is you don't want to have the 360 booth inside of the enclosure and then you have the arm extended out as far as possible to get a nice wide shot. Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
A nice wide shot, but because of the enclosure, this arm has to be moved up closer to the
Closer.
because you don't want to hitting your enclosure as it spins around.
Right. Okay.
You have a big enough enclosure where your arm can just hang out as far as possible, as back as possible. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Get that good shot. Now I use template number 5, and with template number 5, you can capture almost the entire body of the attendee on top of the 360 booth.
Okay.
For enclosures. Another thing with enclosures is keep in mind that some of these folks are above average height, and once they stand on top of the 360 booth that's already maybe close to 6 inches up, you don't want their head to hit the ceiling of the enclosure, just depending on how tall they are. That's another thing. Some of these enclosures include LED strips in the inside, right? You guys want to ask the supplier or manufacturer what type of voltage or what type of power is needed to get those LED lights lit up. If you guys can use portable batteries, that would be awesome.
Okay.
That's a question you want to bring up for those enclosures.
What is the cold spark machines? Like I've seen it, but like
it's like with the sparks, the shooting.
Yeah, I've seen it, but like what? So you can have those indoors, you can have them outdoors. Are there some that are portable? Like you just charge them up. Do you have to buy like not gas, but you have to buy something to put it in there, like a fog machine?
Yeah.
Like,
So the way the cold sparkle machine works is, so the cold spark machine, most sizes are going to be around this size right here. Okay, and cold spark machines, one's going to be for your power, of course, right? You're going to let it heat up, and every manufacturer, the heating up process is just slightly different. This is a 600 watt cold sparkle machine. These are the granules that go inside the machine. They go inside right here, okay? And these granules, they can get pretty pricey, guys, okay? I'm not gonna lie. These can get pretty pricey. So you really have to figure out how are you gonna pitch it to the client and how are you gonna execute it at the event. The way I do it is, if I'm booked for 2 hours, the first hour will not include the cold sparkle effect. The last hour will include a 3 sparkle. And I tell clients the reason I do it in this fashion is because I want them to kind of see how their production transitions over from normal to the fog lights to the lighting, because they usually book me where there's still daylight and you don't want to waste your cold sparkles during the daylight. You want to do them when the moon is out, kind of thing.
Right.
That's the cold spark machine right there. This is controller right here, what's going to trigger it. And like I said, it's a 600 watt cold spark machine. Make sure you guys get good warranty on these cold spark machines, because before I bought from Alibaba, I bought here directly from eBay, and I ordered 2 cold spark machines. I did not get insurance on the first batch that I bought, and I paid the price, literally paid the price. One of them went bad after the 30 days, and so I only had one working cold spark. I did a lot of research, and then I ended up buying my cold spark machines from a solid supplier on Alibaba, and that's what I've been doing. I have like a total of 4 cold spark machines now. So do your homework, and I know you guys will. I could tell when it comes to the cold spark machines. You guys can get a cold spark, 600 watt cold spark machine for around $380, $400.
Okay.
Just to kind of give you an idea how much of a budget you're gonna need to put together for one of these cold spark machines.
And then whenever and I guess you turn it on and off, or you keep it like, so like, let's say like you tell somebody, hey, look, the first hour I'm not gonna do it, but for the last hour we're gonna use it. You keep it running the whole time, or is that when you use your remote to turn it off and on?
Yeah.
Whenever you play.
The cool thing about most of these cold sparkle machines, is that on the controller, when the arm starts spinning on the 360 booth, on your controller for the cold spark machine, you can hit the button where it'll turn on the fountain for 7 seconds, and that's ideal. That's actually perfect, because you hit the button, 7 seconds, it turns off by itself.
Gotcha.
Your video will download, the attendees will put the props back, they will get their video, the video will render, new people will come up to the booth, and then you spin again, and then when you start that spin, you know, do that countdown for the recording, and then hit that button, the cold fountain goes on again for 7 seconds, then comes off. So it's almost like you can almost use it as a cue. So yeah,
Okay.
that's the way it would work. You're not gonna have it running every single second just for every spin for that hour.
Okay. Whenever you're doing your events and you have the songs, how many songs do you can you do at an event? Do you use, because I saw the video how you went from YouTube to the I guess transfer from YouTube to MP3. Do you only provide one song for events, or do you be like, hey, I can get you multiple songs, or what do you do about that?
I try to simplify things as much as possible, especially when we're prepping. And that's part of the prepping process, because you're prepping the overlay, you're prepping the MP3 song. And so what I do now, these last few events, is I didn't even include the MP3 song, because I educated my client and told them, hey, if you select a song, we'd be more than happy to add it on there for you. However, it's better if you get the song with just the video without the song, because when you upload your video, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, you can actually select the song that you want playing in the background when you upload that video onto any of your applications, any of those platforms. So that saves me time from cutting, compressing, trimming, and uploading. And not just that, but when the video is downloading, it's adding all the effects. It's also adding that song, so it's more data for it to process. So for my last, I want to say, man, maybe close to like the last 2 months now, I haven't really used a background song, but I do educate my clients and tell them, if we use the song that you selected, it might be muted to wherever you upload it to. That's all. But what you can do is you can select your song through the actual application platform itself that you're uploading the video to.
Okay. Okay. Video edit. So because I seen people do it like they give option. They can do slow motion, fast, slow, or it can go fast, slow, and then go in reverse. Is all that set up through TouchPic, or is that just by us? Okay.
Yeah, so that's actually a default on TouchPics. One of the things you can manipulate is how long do you want the slow-mo recording to be. The boomerang is added on there when you're setting up your event. I'm sure you've probably seen that video, right, guys? The one where like you're setting up the event on TouchPic. Yeah, so you can select how much slow-mo seconds you want. I'm starting to use 6 seconds for mine. And then within the app, when you're actually at the event, you can actually go to settings and add other small effects while you're there. These effects are not the greatest, and that's why you probably don't see them a lot. It's actually better when you get the slow-mo in and the boomerang, and then you upload it to, like, say, for example, TikTok. I like TikTok because their effects on TikTok for your video can make you look way cooler than the existing effects TouchPic has. And if TouchPic is watching this, you guys can step it up, and we'll be more than happy to use your effects.
Okay. You got any more questions?
No, you done with yours? What's that?
Well, that was a contract to post videos and everything.
As far as like going about and promoting, we know we had to get content, so that's why we kind of offered a couple of friends who have events, like, hey, just let us show up so we get some content and stuff to start posting. How do you promote, or how did you start promoting? Where is it more word of mouth, friends send out a message, or?
Yeah, so I had nobody to reach out to when I first got started with the 360 booth industry. There was one dude putting game down when it came to the 360 booth. I think his name is Fritters. I forgot his name. I always shout him out, but I don't remember his name.
Is he on YouTube?
Yeah, he's on YouTube.
I think I came across him. Yeah, but I didn't finish watching it. But yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, so what I was doing, guys, is I was going on YouTube and I was screen recording existing 360 booth videos of other people. I would screen record it, and then I would download it and upload it to my website and social media. So I was using 360 booth videos that I didn't shoot myself, but I was confident that I can replicate that production.
Gotcha.
So that's what I started doing. That's how I started, because I had nothing. But what I'm going to do for you guys is, once you guys reach out to me on Instagram, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you guys photos and videos. That way you guys can download those photos and videos of my productions, trim them, use them to your advantage, promote them every single week across our
Perfect.
social media. So I'm gonna hook you guys up.
Appreciate
But we
that.
haven't. We don't have the fog machine, or the lights yet.
You
Yeah,
guys
we
don't have
ain't
the
got
fog
like
machines or the lights. So what I'll do is I'll send you video and go ahead and remind me when you send me a message. Say, hey David, it's us. This is our Instagram, uh, and then it'll refresh my mind, and then I'll send
Okay.
you videos that are more indoor that didn't allow me to use fog machines. That way, you guys, when your client sees your videos and you guys actually show up, they're not like, hey, where are the fog
Yeah.
machines, cold sparks, or like. So I totally get it. Trust me, I get it. I get folks who ask me for videos, but David, we don't have the cold sparks. They're like, okay.
Okay, now and with that stuff, do you include that into your package, or is that more like an add-on?
No, I include it in all of my packages, whether it's 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours. The thing is, guys, is you want your work to go out there and work for you. So
Yeah.
if they book me for 2, 3 hours, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna make sure that those videos that I directed, that I produced, are videos that are almost like branded, like, oh, this looks like one of David's videos, one of Canary Capital Rental. So yeah, I include everything. I never what's the word? I never skimp out depending on how long they're booking. I include it all because it's a representation of my business.
Gotcha. Now, because the reason why I asked that, because again, we want to think about, because the enclosures that we've been looking at are not the one that has the top. It's just like an open one. So, like I said, I just gotta check to make sure it fits inside. The measurement is good to fit it. But yeah, I was thinking about just doing that. That's my blank.
Question for you. See, so that enclosure, because you kind of shared more details about it. If it doesn't have a top, does it mean it's just literally like this circle that encloses the 360
So
view?
it's like them green screens, how you just walk in, and
Yep.
it's like, and it just has the LED light. So when the camera goes around, it just looks like you're in a room full of LED lights,
Okay.
and stuff like that. So because I know some people, like, they may have a wedding and they may not want, if we have an enclosure, they may not want that enclosure. They may just want the LED lights and maybe a backdrop. So that's why I asked, do you have that as an add-on, or like I said, is that included? Because I don't want to say, hey, yeah, we got this, but somebody be like, well, we don't really want that. All we really want is the LED lights and the fog in the spark machine if we get that. So, or do you give people an option, like, hey, like, what all do you want, or this is what's included, and then
Yeah.
do they say, hey, we don't want this or that type stuff?
Yeah, so simplicity for me is key. Uh, just like when you go somewhere and just keep it really simple. It's for us, if we don't get too many options, if they don't give us too many options, then it's easier for us to make a decision. And keep in mind that these people that are booking you had to book a DJ, a rodeo, a cook, and they had to book many different services to make their event happen. So they're just really trying to minimize the amount of time they're spending with these vendors and getting them booked. So we want to make it really easy for them, and we want to educate them on top of that. In some areas, they might feel like you might feel as an operator, they might need to know this. So I'm going to share this with them. So,
Okay.
for example, guys, say for example you want to get the enclosure, and you guys are fixated, like, yeah, let's get the enclosure. You guys also want to think backwards, right? So, what happens if you spend anywhere from $150 to $200 on that enclosure, and that enclosure you're taking it to some events? But what happens when you guys also want the cold spark machines? Now you guys have an enclosure you guys paid for, but those
No.
cold spark machines, you can't put them too close to that enclosure. So the sparks machine, you want to have them in the background. So now you're thinking like, oh crap, maybe I should have bought the cold sparks first, and
Mm-hmm.
then the enclosure. So try to think of the whole thing, like I said, long term. That way you guys spend your money at the right time on the right things,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So that's one thing to really, like I said, consider and weigh out. I like the enclosure idea. It's set, it's done. The cold sparks is always going to be great, but you're going to have to constantly re-up on those bags, those granules you pour inside, right? So that's costly, uh, and it just depends exactly on how you guys want to stand out and what your current budget is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can see it, but this is kind of, I found like a little screenshot so you can kind of see the idea. Cause like I said, either, yeah, I mean, cause like I said, it's something different, and I thought it was cool. Cause I train a lot of athletes, and when they go to these college visit for football, basketball, they're in these little room with the LED lights, and they're doing their little poses with the
Okay.
jerseys on and everything. So I was like, man, I know kids like that, and that's something big.
So he's thinking more like
So kind of more
outside
like,
of weddings.
more kind of like
I
that.
see it. Yeah.
so that's kind of what I was thinking about doing, to where, like, that can be our backdrop, and then if we did have the little sparkler, it could be like in the opening part, or or something like that. But yeah, we'll talk about it. But yeah, that's kind of like the idea that I was thinking. Because again, like you said, I want to set ourselves apart from everybody else, and stand out from other people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, in a situation like this, it just depends on your budget. Like I like your idea. I like the enclosure because there's gonna be moments where you guys get booked, and some of these venues, even though you tell them these cold sparks won't burn anything down, and I have my business insurance, are like, no, it would be prefer if you don't bring them with you or you don't use them, and you're like, okay, well now I'm gonna have to break it down to my client who is also your client and tell them I can't use a 360 cold spark machine. So I've been in situations like that, and I think that if I had an enclosure, right, I can say, you know what, we're not going to use the cold spark machines, but I'll bring this enclosure along to give it a different vibe as well. So it just really depends how you guys can pitch it and really add it to your production as a selling point, just like I do. I mentioned I have winning cold spark machines that are going to be used in your production.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. That makes sense.
See, but how much do you charge? So we've been seeing like
crazy prices.
So 700, just in the DFW, 700 for 2 hours, 250 an hour.
I seen 3 hours, a minimum of $1,200. Like, So how do we gauge? Because we don't want to go too cheap, but we don't want to overprice ourselves.
Yeah. So right now, guys, is consumers, us, the little guys, we're extremely sensitive to like cost for anything right now. It's just, for groceries and gas and utilities is taking all our money.
Right.
And
so that's why we have a job.
Exactly. So you guys got to survive, right? And these are some of the methods you use. You invest in equipment and you provide a service that's going to produce joy and happiness, and you get compensated for it. So the first thing you want to do, guys, is you want to see who's within a 10-mile radius from where you're currently at. And then what you do is this: you go on Google and you type in 360 booth Frisco, Texas. It's going to show you everyone that's ranking for those words, or at least is being acknowledged by the algorithm for that keyword. Okay? Once you guys have those competitors, both of you guys get on your phones, call each competitor, get their pricing. When you guys get their pricing, also get the vibe as far as how they're answering the phone, and just the overall customer service, and ask them some details. Ask them questions like you guys were asking me questions like, well, what do I get for $700 for 2 hours? What exactly do I get? Right?
Okay.
And now you guys are putting yourselves in a position as a consumer, and it also affects you. It's a good practice for you because you guys are calling it in not only as a competitor but as a consumer, and now you guys can get a vibe of how it feels when they say like, well, for an additional $50 we can also throw this in and this in, and then however you guys feel, most likely your future client might feel. So this is a good way to kind of gauge competition, see the current rate they're charging clients, and look out for opportunities. This is the perfect type of exercise that you can use to your advantage, because everything that you learn, everything that you soak up, you're going to use it to your advantage and see it as an opportunity for you guys to capitalize on as a new 360 booth business. So try that exercise. Call at least 5 people within your area.
I haven't called, but I've emailed like 3 or 4 people that I researched, and I've forwarded her the emails, and that's why I'm looking at the prices. Like some people, like, and that's why I asked about the add-on. They say, yeah, if you want to add this and this, we can do this, and 3 hours is this. If you want the deluxe package, so we've seen all. I feel like it's too much. Yeah, and we've seen all type of stuff. And again, like, we're not trying to go overboard, but we want to be like in a reasonable price, but not not too expensive. Where people are like, hey, they're a good quality, good service for a good price.
Yeah. And I guess the way I've seen it, kind of what I just gathered right now is you have your set price, and one, you're in California, right? Yep. And so like say we charge $700 for 2 hours, but you get the fog machine, you get this, versus we charge $250, and if you want this it's $50, if you want that it's $50. So there's like like you said, there's 2 different ways to do it. Kind of see like what is manageable, I guess, for us, and then what's easier to like maintain too.
Yeah, so just remember that every piece of equipment you guys already invested in that equipment.
Yeah.
So it'll be way better if you guys can actually utilize the entirety of your production for every single event. uh,
Mm-hmm.
because it's, you don't want it just sitting there for people that could maybe one day throughout the year possibly afford that add-on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That piece of equipment that you guys got, it was to enhance your production, so it should be included in your videos because you guys paid for that,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and the
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
clients can see that, right? So I'm just sharing
Mm-hmm.
my point of view, guys. Like,
I don't know.
Right.
We appreciate
yeah.
it.
And
Yeah.
so, and say for example, C and Bree, if say for example your competition is charging $600 for 2 hours, and let's just say they have a couple of Google stars, Google reviews, right? And they have it a very simple setup, and you guys come in now with the enclosure, I would say match their price, but because they're not offering the enclosure, you might just get the client because you're offering something in addition. And now you guys just got a bigger piece of the pie because of that enclosure you invested in. And now you get an opportunity to come up with a bunch of marketing videos during that event you're getting paid for.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you I guess, do you have a certain mile radius that you go? Like, cause like here in Texas, everything is everything is spread out. Like it can take some time to get to certain parts of Dallas. Do you have like I service within this mile radius, and then if you have to go like past a certain mile radius, do you happen to charge more people for, like, do you charge for like gassing and stuff like that?
I don't charge for gas, but this is what I do. See, and then we'll wrap it up because we're already at an hour.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is this, if they are, let's say, less than an hour from me, that's ideal. If it's 30 minutes, even greater, because it's time of our lives. We're sitting down in that vehicle and the logistics, getting from point A to point B. That's our time, right? As individuals, so that's precious time. So we got to factor that in, how far we're driving out. Now, for me, I try to keep it under 1 hour. Now, if I have to drive out to them and they're over an hour away, what I try to do is I try to get them to book for 3 hours. That way, I'm going to be there longer and make more money. So it kind of compensates. It helps for the amount of distance that I'm traveling.
Makes sense. Okay.
That's
Okay.
that's how I do it. I tell them, like, you guys are out of my service radius, and what I'll do is, however, if you guys can afford to book me for 3 hours and get a lot more videos, then I'll make it happen for you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And then I guess, and then last one, how far out do you book events? Like,
Oh yeah. So an entire year.
Okay.
Because of weddings.
As long as they're putting down that deposit we talked about earlier, then I
Mhm.
know that my money is
Secure.
locked in, even though if it's a whole year out, because they put those $100 that are non-refundable, because it's just to actually save the date for them. If they
Got you.
cancel or if they don't come through, then I still have $100 for that day. Plus, if I can get that day covered by the time they cancel, then I made $100 for setting the date onto the side, plus that new event that's gonna substitute or replace that event. Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much.
Cool, David.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it, man. That was very helpful for us.
That was fun. That was fun, guys. Also encourage you to set up your Google business profile. I say it in every single video, and it's because it's essential. It's important. You need to have it. It's free.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so really quick, guys, before we get off, I have a few assignments for you guys. So, one, please reach out to me on Instagram so that I can send you those pictures and those videos. Also, in addition to that, please send me your contact information, your social media handles, your phone number, your email. Send me all that great stuff, because I'm gonna go ahead and upload a 360 booth video for you guys. This video will not include the Cold Sparks. Okay. And then I'm gonna title it, 360 photo booth Frisco. That's where you guys reside, right?
Yes.
Frisco. That way, with time, as you guys start loading more content, you guys will realize that your video that I uploaded for you guys, my YouTube channel, was used as a backlink, so it helps get eyeballs on that video. And once they press on that video and watch the video, in the description, they're gonna find all your guys' information.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right.
You guys. But so provide me with that information, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys being serious about the business and reaching out to me, and it was really a pleasure. I think you guys are going to be great together. I always get a little sad when I get calls and it's two people taking on this journey, and I've been doing it solo, and I'm always thinking, how fortunate are you guys to have one another? That's really cool. You know, that's really awesome.
Well, hey, again, man, we appreciate you. Like I said, your videos been helpful. I've been up like hours, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, just YouTube a lot of your videos, just trying to learn from all the stuff you've been doing. So I appreciate you taking the time out and posting those videos to kind of help educate us on this new business that we're looking forward to starting.
For sure.
We'll do a 6-month follow-up.
Yeah.
Will it be okay with you guys if this video is edited a little bit and uploaded to YouTube for you guys to circle back and watch, and also have other 360 booth operators kind of go over the questions you guys asked me today?
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do. Man.
It looks like a hot mess, but okay.
No,
Yeah,
you guys are fine. You guys are fine.
Yeah.
So let me do this, guys. Once this video finishes rendering, then I have to go into the process of editing it and then uploading it. And it's going to be a long video. It's going to take a long time to upload. But I can have this, our session, I'm confident I can have it up on YouTube within 48 hours. Is that's okay with you guys?
Yeah, we're not in a rush. We're not in a rush, and we're not picky.
That work.
Well, other than that, guys, have a blessed rest of your evening.
Thank you. You too.
I'm gonna always wish you guys the best, because you guys have that entrepreneur spirit, and it takes a unique human being to be an entrepreneur, really. And so, congratulations on your existing business as a fitness, right?
Yes, sir.
It was a pleasure meeting you guys both.
You too, David. Appreciate it, man.
Bye.
You have a good one.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.